I'm Kevin Price. Welcome back to the Price of Business. Talking to you about what's going on out there in the business front. Let me tell you, it's your business to know what's going on when it comes to college football. I'm still kind of, withdrawal symptoms. I'm okay. I guess I can watch pro football, but I'm a huge, ridiculous college football fan. And so this last season was one of the funnest I've seen in a long time. Of course, I say that every year to watch, but it was so much fun. I've had John Greenburg on the program before. He's an author. And by the way, you can check him out at John Greenburg. That's BURG.com. But he's got vast knowledge of what's happening out there in the sports front, and love our conversations with him. John, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you ever so much for having me on your show.
You bet.
A big hello to all those listeners out there.
You bet. Tell me a little bit about for what I wanted to talk about, because we've now been hearing about, I guess, a little over 2 years. They decided that the way they did the Division 1A, which I know it's now changed itself in about 10 years. I'll call it whatever it's called now, but they changed the way the highest level of conference play is done to actually having a system, a playoff system. And I can barely say it. I can barely say playoff system because I'm kind of irritated by it. I like the fact that every single game is the game of the lifetime. And part of the reason why is that you're either on the top or you're not in order to be able to go to the national championship. I think that's what is the secret ingredient, if you will, to the quality of college football play. And so I worry about them ruining it. You've been watching it, and so tell me what you've seen.
Well, what I've seen is that we're starting in the 2014 season. There will be, at the conclusion, 4 teams selected for a playoff, and there will be a national championship game in January of 2015. Mm-hmm. Okay, and this is a new development in the sense that since 1998, there has been a BCS championship game, but this coming year will be better in the sense that there will be more teams having a shot at getting into that championship game. There will be an extra 2 teams that might possibly get in there. But personally, I would like to see a 16-team playoff.
Oh, man. Why don't you just just go ahead and grab a sword and just decapitate it? I mean, my God. I mean, is there any controversy that Florida State and Auburn were the 2 best teams in college football at the end of this season?
Yeah, but here,
hold it. That's my question,
we got
John.
To look at other years,
No. I understand that, but when you're talking about 16, when has there ever been in the history of college football 16 teams that were worthy? See, what you're doing is you're decentivizing them from having the passion to show up for all those other games during the season.
I interject and say, look, we've got all these bowl games that really don't mean anything in December. People don't go to the games. People don't watch the games. And this is almost like a scam where they make the schools buy so many tickets to those games and guarantee that they're going to be taking bands and all this other stuff to occupy hotel rooms. I would like to see all of the college levels of competition from Division III all the way up to the BCS. Let them have this playoff, but that's not going to happen. Okay.
Oh God, I hope not.
Okay. Well, we're going to have this. We're going to have this 4-team playoff. The only problem is that the 4 teams are selected by a committee, and the committee includes people with impressive credentials, but not necessarily in football, and not necessarily in college football. They've got the former commandant of the Air Force Academy. They've got Condoleezza Rice. They've got all these different people. So there are going to be people that feel slighted. This is just the problem that's always been with college football.
So you're telling me that the top 4 teams aren't going to necessarily be the 4 teams to go into the playoff?
Well, no, it gets into a judging situation. just like boxing or anything else. It's a fight goes the distance, the judges get into the picture. Well, now, you've got these seasons played, and what if there's 6 unbeaten teams?
Mm-hmm.
This is the problem. But I think it's going to be a lot better than it's been for the last over 10 years.
So
okay?
in 10 years, how many times have there been more than 4 contenders?
Well, we can go back and forth on this thing.
Yeah, there's never been a time. There's never been a time in my lifetime that there's been more than 4 contenders. It's always fairly narrow. And one of the main reasons why is because every game matters. And what you're going to do is that this national championship, especially if you had 16, oh my God. And I keep hearing they're planning on growing it. It begins with 4. They add more as they go along is what they're saying. And I think you could call, instead of national championship, you call it the Mediocrity Bowl is what you're going to call it, because you got all these teams that don't have to show up. And it's going to end up looking more and more like an NFL, where like 7 teams, teams with 7 losses or 6 losses end up going to the Super Bowl.
It's going to get better. The NFL is going to wind up expanding their playoffs.
Well, they do that because of the fact that people will keep showing up to games. They do that because people show up to games. And no matter what it was, they'll show up to those games. That's why they'll expand it. It has nothing to do with improving the quality of football. It has to do with improving the quality of their bottom lines.
The point is that there's always been people that stand up for the Northern Illinois of the world and the Fresno States and the teams that come from conferences like the Mountain West and the WAC and all that. And they say, look, if we run the table, what chance do we have of getting into that national championship game?
Hey, by the way, I'm a huge fan of Northern Illinois. I'm a huge fan of that. Yeah, I like them. But and that's why I can begrudgingly maybe do the 4-team playoff. Okay. I could begrudge that, but I have a problem with expanding that. Because let's face it, if they didn't implode, if Northern Illinois didn't implode in that last regular season game, they could have been number 4.
That's right. Okay, but now here's the other problem is that there's going to be a week between the semifinals and the championship game.
Mm-hmm.
And this coming season, one of the semifinals will be played in, I believe it's Pasadena at the Rose Bowl. And the other one is going to be played in New Orleans. So one team, one winner, is going to have to travel a greater distance than the other to get to the championship game site, which is the AT&T Stadium in Texas. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got another situation where the coaching staffs are going to have to basically prepare for 3 teams because they have to be ready for just about anybody. They have to prepare for their opponent in the semifinals, but they'll also have to be doing some advanced preparation for the 2 teams that will be in the other semifinal. And there's only going to be a week's span between the semifinals and the championship game, contrary to the way it is now where they get almost 6 weeks to prepare for the national championship.
John, they're going to pull the plug on me. I have 2 questions that I need to ask real quick. Are they doing away with all the bowl games, or will we see those?
No. They're going to all those bowl games, all the GoDaddy bowls, and all that other stuff. They're going to continue with that stuff.
Okay, and then secondly, I have to be quick. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. Are they going to use those other big bowls? There's 3 major bowls, the BCS bowls. Are 2 of them going to be playoffs?
They will be semifinal sites on alternate years.
Okay,
got it. The championship game sites are all new, and they're all so far in pro football stadiums. We have one coming down here in 2017 at Raymond James Stadium in
John, I got to go. John Greenburg, and that's spelled B-U-R-G, johngreenburg.com. He knows his stuff. Love having him on the program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
When we come back, more for you right here on The Price of Business.